Hey YouTube, and Charlie. This is a video response to Charlie's video. I'm sorry it took 6 months to make this. Problem is, first time I saw your video, it was kind of like talking to a brick wall. See, thing is, I don't really understand Feminish. So, I wanted to do a video response, but I really couldn't make heads or tails of it. Of what you were saying in your video. So I went online and I found myself, I ordered a Feminish to English Dick-shun-ary, and it took a while, but it finally came in the mail. So I'm going to be putting it to good use.
So it has come to my attention that there is a new breed of white, cisgendered, straight men that sincerely believe that they are oppressed and that there is no such thing as a patriarchy, some going as far as to say that there was never any patriarchy and that it is truly a matriarchy.
It says here, white, cisgendered, straight men. Privileged parasites who hog all the love and respect that society so generously provides. People whose opinions must be ignored. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Despite the fact that his thinking is incredibly problematic, disturbing, and, like, why? It's illogical. It's just, I'm not even gonna go into describing how ridiculous it is, but,
What do you mean by patriarchy? Pastry, potato. Ah, here it is. Patriarchy. The debt that each male owes to feminists for being male. 2. The obstacle that prevents feminists from reaching their objectives. 3. The omnipresent enemy which gives feminists a reason to be angry and hostile.
So, like, my first response was to, wow, I need to set these people straight. I mean, like, I can't believe that there are people out there that can just ignore, I mean, the experiences of women all over the world and misogyny. I mean...
What do you mean misogyny? Misogyny. Number 1. Isolated acts which seem atrocious when committed against a woman, but insignificant when committed against a man. Number 2. Anything which can be framed as harmful to women. Number 3. Anything and everything that can be used to portray women as victims. That makes a lot more sense, actually. Okay, I think I'm starting to get it.
Because I do enjoy watching videos about feminism. I like learning, I like enlightening myself, I like, you know, sharing my experiences as a female-bodied person. Dealing with misogyny, so,
Sharing experiences. Throwing a pity party. Establishing or laying claim to victimhood. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I mean, because erasing centuries of systematic oppression because of petty annoyances is horrifying.
Horrifying? Seriously? I don't get what you're saying. I'm gonna have to look it up. Horrifying. Problematic, disturbing, and like why. The quality of holding an opinion that differs from feminist doctrine. Heresy. The very thought of sharing your victim identity with unworthy people.
Like, yeah, it wasn't okay for those group of feminists to, like, go and spoil the men's rights activists meeting. But feminists aren't evil. I mean, that's not what we want. We don't want to, destroy men. That isn't the point of feminism. I can't even believe that I have to describe this. I mean, it's combating patriarchy and misogyny, which also affects men, surprisingly. I mean, expectations of traditional masculinism and the rejection of feminism, or feminist qualities such as kindness and respect and not being a douchebag that feels the need to compensate for a lack of whatever. Anyway. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't sexism against men, because that does exist. Men can be raped, men can be assaulted, men can have mental illnesses. They aren't infallible, But if these men's rights activists had come together to work with feminists and say, hey, let's combat gender inequality together, but had acknowledged that women are and have been far more oppressed than men, then yeah.
Okay, Charlie, I want to know a few things. So, you say that you think that men's rights activists and feminists can work together, or should work together, or that men's rights activists should work together with feminists. But you also want men's rights activists to agree with feminists that women are more oppressed, or that they have it worse, or that men are more privileged, or that women are treated like objects, etc., etc., or misogyny is worse than misandry. My question to you is, why is that so important? Why is it so important to you that men's rights activists say that women are more oppressed than men? Also, why is it horrifying to you that anyone would disagree with that? What makes that so scary? Also, what is it about feminism that makes people respectful or kind? What does that have to do with feminism? Indulge me in a thought experiment, though. Just suppose that every man on the entire planet denied the existence of patriarchy and denied that women were treated unfairly, let's say they denied the existence of misogyny. What do you think would happen? Do you think men would start treating women worse? Do you think they would suddenly lower their standards of how they interact with women, have less empathy, be less generous to them? Do you think women would get a worse deal? I mean, it seems like you're trying to support like a religion where people just say, hey, I'm going to be nice to you because this bullshit reason, this, this because of patriarchy or because of some, sins or whatever, some original sin that men have committed against women. It's all stupid. I mean, people should just be nice to each other just because they understand why. I mean, there are reasons why you should be nice to people. It has nothing to do with history. There's nothing to do with all this other bullshit. Patriarchy.
And I realized that feminists such as myself encountered these men's rights activists on a daily basis, and their responses were treating them like children. And I completely agree, I mean, trying to explain why these people are wrong is literally like yelling at a brick wall, or trying to tell, a 3-year-old child why the sky is blue. I mean, you just can't do it, it's silly, it's like...
If you don't say what you believe and why, then your beliefs can't be examined, and they can't be challenged, and they can't be tested. That's why it's important to really think about why you think what you think, what your evidence is, and to make it known to other people so they can challenge you. If you really care about what's true, that's what you'll do. If you really don't give a crap about that, I don't know, I don't know you very well, so I don't know what your motivations are. I think I know why, actually. I think I can answer those questions. You don't tell me, you don't really want to go into why you have these ideas. But, so, I'm pretty much forced to just guess. So, I'm going to offer my analysis. I think that basically you're looking to be a victim. You want victim status for yourself or for women. And you're trying to defend it. It's sort of like a territorial thing. You're competing for victimhood. You want to be recognized as a victim. And it horrifies you that anybody would challenge that. And say, no, you're not a victim. Because you value that so much. And that's a shame. If you have a better explanation, I'd like to hear it.
I visited a blogging site that I like a lot, Tumblr.
But it does sound to me like you're sort of indoctrinated into a religion. And you're really just competing for this victim status. You really think this victim status is really important. So important that you're horrified that somebody would try to challenge or dispute, not even challenge, just dispute a claim by women to victim status, which is essentially what you're saying in your video, that you're horrified by that. I'm glad that you admit that there is a such thing as sexism against men. But then you blame that on, you do the typical feminist thing, blame it on patriarchy as well. And say that it's caused by masculinity. I'm not saying that masculinity is many things. It's not all good. I'm against gender roles. I say, hey, everyone, be who you want to be. I would never enforce gender roles personally.
Like, people hear what these men's rights activists say and kind of just laugh. I mean, I laugh too. Nobody takes them seriously, and that's great.
From my perspective as an MRA, I don't think there's any competition between the interests of women and the interests of men. I think we're all human, and I think we all share 100% of our common interest. But there are subgroups of people who have their own agendas. Okay. So Charlie, I can understand perfectly well why some men would view other men as the competition, and why women would view other women as the competition. But I'm going to need you to explain to me why you think some women would think that men are their competition. When you really look at the goals of life, what you're after, survival and playing the mating game, why would any woman view men as a competition? Why would they feel like they lose when men do well? Why would they judge themselves relative to men in the mating game, which is what beauty and power and status is really all about? It's the mating game. So, What kind of woman thinks that she's competing with men for mates? Could you help me out with that, please? I want to know. Is it a sort of an intellectual thing? Do you just sort of think, well, men and women are different people, so they have differences, so they're going to group together and they're going to compete, collectively? People like themselves more, so they're just going to automatically bond. Is that what you think? Or is it something deeper? I can honestly tell you, I don't see women as competition. Here I am, I'm a men's rights activist, and I don't view women as competition. I view men as competition, but not women. Because at the end of the day, I know what we're competing for. I can't deny it. I can try, I can pretend, but I can't deny it. I have to be honest. I'm not competing against women. And I'm not alone. Most men see things that way. I'd even say that most women see things that way.
Like, people hear what these men's rights activists say and kind of just laugh. I mean, I laugh too. Nobody takes them seriously, and that's great.